Welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. Joined again with Shawn Gervais from Orbis X and Marshall Hill from Pints Polishing Podcast, recently back from Brazil, and Hyper Clean Car Care Products. I got my Superman glasses on, so I had to come with some. Well, actually, my non-Superman glasses. Yeah,
So you just like the color blue?
I love the color blue. Yeah, you know it's crazy. They're actually not blue. You can kind of see it gets blue, but then if I tilt them, they're 100%
Yeah, it's
transparent.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. So these things highly recommended if you spend any time in front of a screen. They're really good. But my wife says they make me look sexy. So there we go. I think it just makes
Not
me
going
look
to
like
comment on that. Not
that's
going to
it.
comment.
I think it just makes me look like a different person, and so she's excited
Hmm.
about that.
Oh,
She's like, ooh.
needing to spice it up a little, huh?
Exactly. I already told her I'm like basically bipolar and schizophrenic, all kind of stuff. She gets a threesome every night.
Every night, Shawn. Wow, pretty impressive. You're still rocking hard every night.
Yeah, absolutely. Usually it's me by myself, and she's just up there.
Absolutely.
But no,
You're not even joking, huh?
no,
Really?
no.
Every night.
I got a lot of stamina, but I did just turn
You're like
41.
the one man in history that,
Yeah,
that gets laid every night. I've never met any man that
Any man.
is married and gets
Yeah.
laid
Good
every
point. Good
night.
point. Yeah. Not like the guy that just. You seen all those memes now?
Man, that's brutal.
Oh, dude,
Wow.
crazy.
Okay, so speaking of that, I
Mhm.
saw somebody make a detailer post to his customers off of that meme.
I've seen a few of those. Yeah.
And there was, you know,
100% seen.
it is always fun. It is a time like if there's something hits,
Yeah.
of course, you got a window to go join in with it, right?
Yeah.
That
It's
window's
true.
short.
You gotta capitalize on it
It's
though.
short. You got to
Yeah.
go fast, right? Like by the time you listen to this, it's probably too late, you know. But they did it was, showed those two people. Then it was like holding a spray and a waterless wash. And they said, don't be a cheater and don't cheat on your detailer or something. Like, I know DIY sounds good. And it's like,
Oh.
oh, yeah, man, took that the wrong with a waterless wash and a
Yeah.
spray sealant. He was telling people don't cheat on him. And he doesn't offer a maintenance wash that is mobile
Jesus.
that can come to the house. And I mean,
Jesus. Yeah.
there's right. Well, this was marketing, and he was
Mhm.
marketing to people not to use a waterless wash, but to have him as a detailer detail his car. And I go, that's a bit of a jump, right? Like
Yeah.
I like the idea at the first, but then he went too far, right? Like,
Yeah. You know what would have been better just off the top if he had done like a side by side, the picture of that couple, or well, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, the affair, and then on the other side, a picture of him like washing a car or something, and said like looking for someone that'll never leave you, and then whatever the company name is. You know what I mean? That
there
would
you
have been
go.
better than.
This guy cheated on you, but we won't, right? If you're
Yeah.
marketing to the
Yeah.
soccer mom that we've talked about,
Exactly. Yeah. Like we're here to stay.
yeah, we won't be like that guy.
Yeah. We take till death seriously.
That's a good one. That's a good one. But to go after them cleaning their own car, and you don't clean cars, you only
Yeah.
detail cars, right?
Yeah.
You got to go back to that moment, which we talked about.
Yeah.
There's
It's true.
detailers that want to only detail. We
Yeah.
can always talk about this guy who was on TV. He's now out of business because he told people, send the interiors down the
Down the
street.
road. Yeah.
Only do paint correction and coatings. He is out of
Man.
business. He now
Yeah.
works as a job for a chemical company.
Man. I'm like let
And
that
his
sink in.
bro friend, that they have this crush on each other, he also has a job. And they just love to talk with each other and cheer each other on. But
Jesus.
they now have jobs. And you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
guys, yeah, y'all missed the moment, you know?
Yeah.
You missed the moment. You missed it all together.
I feel that happens quite a bit. It's we had this come up recently because so we had the our office manager died. Pretty serious situation, and it caused a clusterfuck basically at our shop for a brief period of time. We were able to get back on our feet quickly because we react fast, so on and so forth. But through part of that, he was not just office manager, but he was also one of our tinters. He did PPF and windshield replacements as well. And so instantly what happened is now we were trying to replace an office manager and also replace a technician that was capable of doing the excess tints, the PPF, and so on and so forth. And so our current staff, they were trying to deal with the overflow because what we always do is we overbook things because we can handle it. We push the guys, they go fast, da da da. But then when you completely remove someone unexpectedly like that, it happens. Sometimes people quit, so on and so forth. Of course, these things happen. But he was kind of a key personnel in a way because it was like losing multiple people. You know what I mean? Because he was office manager plus those things. And so we had a bunch of meetings, emergency meetings, like what should we do moving forward from right now? What's the next 24 hours, 48, 72? What's it look like? We have all these jobs that are going to stack up, so on and so forth. And we have ads that are still out there. And we had to cross a bridge. Do we pause the ads? Do we remove services? Like, we crossed everything. Like, should we slow down and say, we're only taking a couple PPF jobs here and there? Like, what do we do? And so I think people get to that point either by a situation they're put in or they end up hating a certain aspect of the business. I hate interiors, they're horrible. So they want to remove something from their business. But we took a look at things from both sides. Okay, so there's the skill side. You need technicians for that in a lot of cases, or you need detail or whatever it is. And then the other side is this even making money? Even if you had that person still there, is this making money or is it not making money? Not nowhere in that equation is feelings. Do we like doing it? Do we not like doing it? That never factored in. It was, is this making money? And if so, what do we need to do to keep it making money or making more money? And if it's not making money, what should we replace that with that is making money? So what is making money in the shop? And so we looked at things, and my business partner Nick, he was like, "Ah, man, I hate details. The guys always complain about details because like we just pack the shop full, and they're like, oh God." And I said, "Listen, you have to understand something. The PPF guys don't complain. They work at a different pace. They do things their own way. It's more like the nice air conditioned cushy office versus the guy that's out there in the trenches, right? In their minds." And I said, "So you have to understand something though. We do care about their complaints. We do care about this and that, but like we didn't hire people to love this. Like we want them to be happy with their job, but reality is it's making a ton of money, so we got to keep it." And I think that people give in to that. And my partner almost did the same. He was like, I'm tired of hearing about it, tired of hearing this and that. And I said, well, so you don't deal with it anymore. We hire someone to be that person that just manages the detailers. That's it. And they can listen to that all day. You don't remove it and you don't send it to the guy down the road. Like what are you thinking? So it's those kind of things. I know we weren't planning on talking about any of this today, but I kind of went on a tangent. But what the hell was the whole original
Listen,
point?
I'm always going to say that because that guy was so, and those two were so
Yeah.
adamant in some moments.
Mm,
And I was like,
yeah.
yeah, you guys missed it. So I'll always say because they led quite a few people astray. I mean,
Yeah.
they
100%.
really led some people down a wrong path. So I'll
Yeah.
always come back just for the sake of the people
Oh,
listening to go, hey,
to fully
guys,
drive the point home.
careful, right?
Yeah, be
Because the
careful.
people that
But you
used
know
to
what?
say this, they're out of business now.
It's
So
true. You know what? You have a good point there too, because that same person that posted that ad you were just talking about with the or ad post, whatever it was, with the polisher and the couple that was being mischievous. That person is going to get asked at some point in some group by another detailer any advice for my ads, any advice for what type of content I should post. And so it goes to say, like, man, guys, you really do have to be careful the sources that you're trusting, because it might be something as small as that guy that's posting that ad with the inappropriate message for his target audience, or it could be someone that's like a self-proclaimed guru, like those people that are, hey, send the interiors down the road. You don't need interiors. And so it's hard sometimes to determine where's the good info, where's the bad info, and that's what I'd say part of what we feel our duty is here is to deliver good info, but then also to warn you guys when we see shit in the industry that's like, heads up, there's crocodiles over there. You know what I mean? Like, stay the fuck away from there. But that one with that ad, the biggest takeaway there too for me is never attack your customer. Never.
Mm.
Don't ostracize yourself. You're not at war with your customer. Your customer can do whatever they want with their car. I could care less if our customers like, hey, I want to run it through a car wash. Okay, great. Enjoy yourself. There's a good one, over here, or I recommend this one. They have a monthly pack. Whatever you want to do, do what you want to do. I'm still pushing our services on that customer because we are offering something different than the car wash. You know, fine dining restaurants not pissed off because people once in a while swing through McDonald's drive-through. You know what I mean? It's not. Imagine that's their ads. Is that the ad campaign? Like, oh, you don't want to eat that garbage at McDonald's. What you really want to eat is a nice big thick 12-ounce steak. What? We're not even talking about the same things here. And all you're going to do is make your customer feel like shit, feel like you're an argumentative person. It's not going to lead to success there. And that's why I was saying reframe it in a different way where it's talk about the people in the picture. They're the ones that did something wrong, and then compare it to the industry as a whole. Like, we'll never leave you. You know, we'll be there. We'll this and that. I think that's a much better approach. But yeah, well, today we weren't here to talk about that, but I kind of dove on it. But how was your trip to Brazil, man? That's what I want to know.
It was wonderful. I'll start with this.
Ooh, oh boy.
Trying some of the new, yeah. So
All right.
I've talked about. I think
Mhm.
the next big movement, so to speak, is around these uh, different styles of beverages.
Yeah.
These so many have come out with mushrooms.
Yep. I've seen that,
Willie Nelson came out with Drink Willies. You can get THC in a drink shipped across state lines.
which is pretty wild. Yeah.
It's good. I don't understand it. I guess it's such a low dose, and there's like THCA, which is different than the THC.
It's true. Yeah.
So they can add that and still call it THC, right?
It's true. And so people are like, oh, I'm still getting, but it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a different. So I've been trying some of them. This one I was actually going to take to. It's funny. I was going to take it to Brazil. We're
All right.
trying to help my sister-in-law uh, drink something other than alcohol.
All
Let's
right.
just say
Fair.
that,
Yeah.
like maybe mushrooms, right? Maybe I just trying to come up with some things. They just their culture, which we talked about it, but I mean, yeah, they drink a lot, so it was trying to take these down there, but my bags weighed too much,
Yeah. Yeah.
so they got these. This was the like.
You know what?
It's
You
funny
bring up.
because it was whiskey
Yeah.
and some wine,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm gonna go with what we're gonna drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you bring up a good point though. It's too bad there wasn't a way that they could make, and there's probably a business there. I don't know, some sort of like concentrated tablets or something, and so you could open like a Fresca, and you just like pop that in there, and then yeah, like that's got to be possible. So it's like you could
Yeah,
enjoy
it's
your
got to be.
favorite drink
Yeah.
abroad. You know? Yeah. Yeah. That's
Well, or
got to be.
just here.
Or here too. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
either
true.
way.
But
But you're
why are
right.
we,
Yeah.
shipping
hmm
everything? It arrives at stores all bottled up and everything. It's
hmm
nonsense. It's yeah. Damn.
So it's okay. I drank some yesterday. I mean, it's 5 milligrams,
So it's like yeah,
and it's THC, right? So it's not. It's not. Yeah. I mean, you don't. You're just
it's not
drinking.
gonna hit the same. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Actually, it
yeah.
doesn't hit at
Like not
all.
at all.
There's no hitting.
Yeah, yeah.
More like
So
drinking a nice tasting,
yeah,
you know, mineral water or something. I don't.
fair. Yeah. So let me ask you then: do you think that sector of the industry, let's say, assume it stays the same as it is, because maybe they're gonna, increase the dosages or change it so it's actually the THC that's going to get you there. Do you think if it stays the same, this is just going to kind of be one of those trends that just
Man, I don't know. Seltzers were people didn't think seltzers would take off, but they did. There's I think I I've heard it before. Now I'm starting to see it. I think that 20-year-old, 21, 25, somewhere through there, there's everybody says generations all take on a new form of something, right?
yeah,
There's a heavy, I think, which is why there's so much of these alternative drinks coming out, is because there's so many of that
they're
young
staying.
generation. They're not drinking.
Yeah, yeah,
Like they sustain. They don't want to drink.
yeah, yeah.
They want a healthier lifestyle. They want different things. I think some people say they've seen their parent, right? We all saw parents in a certain
Nice.
way, but maybe now with social media or maybe something's changed to where teens witnessed it, and there's a large
Making a
majority that are
conscious decision.
sustaining.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're like,
that's
yeah,
great.
they don't want to drink.
Ah, damn.
So I think that's why they're having to come up with all these new alternative ways.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
seltzers, right? Seltzers weren't supposed to take off. Everybody laughed at seltzers. But
yeah. But here
Mm,
we are. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like,
I was at a big biking event years ago, and I saw these young kids with a box of Trulies. And I remember posting the picture because we were talking about it regularly on the community pub back then. And I remember being like, guys, it's coming. Like,
yeah,
if that
yeah.
kid's walking around with a case of these, handing them out to his buddies,
Like, what do you think the next step is? Yeah, like it's all
yeah,
ball
yeah.
rolling. It's yeah, man, that's wild. Yeah, because I've
So
seen.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I've seen a big trend here where, and there's a lot of companies doing it. I'm sure it's the same for you guys too. There's the non-alcoholic versions of the same thing. You know, there's the typical ones like Coronas and stuff. And those I expected, like the big brands. I expected those, but I've seen a lot recently of like even local breweries doing it. They've got their own versions of whatever they have that has alcohol coming out. They've, things like
Wild,
that.
yeah.
And it is wild, yeah, because it's like that your main business.
Brewery.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen a lot of lately.
Mm.
And it's what like they fought for the right to sell in gas stations here. We didn't have
Well,
that
they
right
fought the
before.
right to create a brewery.
Yeah, yeah, true. That's true. That's true. That's true. They've been through prohibitions and all kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah. And then now there's that shift where they're like, "Nah, we don't want to do it anymore." Like we thank you, but we don't want to do it anymore. And it does show you one thing is that consumer purchasing power is really what dictates things. If people aren't buying, people aren't buying, right? But I think that yeah, it is one of those swings, like things ebb and flow kind of thing. I don't think it'll ever be like a dry world per se. I think it'll always. It's just there's too many cultures that still do it, but I think that wait till some of these kids go to war or something like that. They're gonna come back and drink.
Yeah.
No,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like a lot of these kids haven't really gone through shit, is
Yeah,
what
they
I'm saying.
haven't. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to drink either. You know what I mean? Like you go through a few things and you're like, yeah, which whiskey am I buying? You know, yeah,
But
yeah,
I have said to my wife, I've said, we also need to find some alternative things like to
yeah,
take the edge off, right? Or maybe that's like we were talking about, like you've had a hard day and you just want to come home and like
yeah,
space out, right? In a
yeah, yeah,
sense,
yeah.
just let your mind be numb.
Yeah.
And so what did most people do? Like
Power through
us, right?
back and then yeah,
I had
yeah, yeah.
some here in the podcast. I'll go
That's
home and
true.
drink some more. And you remember, I used to record 3 times. Well, at one point,
Shit,
four
that's
times a
right,
week.
eh? Holy shit.
Well, some reasons back when we physically we took we took the community pub, but then that Friday episode that was also I needed more time to work here, the lab and all that. But I also was like physically and like as a human, I was like I'm drinking way too much.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like I can't.
I realized it. I was like,
Damn, yeah. That's true. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it
It's funny.
does take a toll on you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 100%. Especially as we get older, it's not like when I was 20, no big deal. All
yeah,
weekend
but I'm
long.
not near my 40, my
Yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. Shit, I know. I just turned 41. Jesus.
40.
Yeah, yeah, 40, late to mid 30s. Exactly.
You're 41. I got some years on you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair, fair, fair. Well, you don't look it, so that's the good news. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Obrigado.
yeah. But yeah,
Obrigado.
yeah, yeah. I find since being back here, I do notice a difference though, because when, like, I'm sure as you noticed in Brazil, for example, when we were living in the Caribbean, that was just like that wasn't even a big deal. Like just drinking anywhere. Like here, you can't even drink in a public park, for example. There, you were like weird if you're
Everywhere.
not drinking in a public park.
There's a
It's
time I told my wife, I go, I've got to do a rehydrate day today. I said,
mhm.
I don't think you realize the past 3 days we've done nothing but drink alcohol.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
nothing but alcohol. Like, because you're right. They
exactly.
just grab, if you stay up late, then you're
Yeah,
going to sleep in. So
yeah.
then by the time you're up and ready to go do something, it's time to go ahead and have another
Time to
beer.
start
It's 11
drinking again.
o'clock.
Exactly. Yeah,
They go,
it's true. It's like I can't do this forever. Like Jesus.
what they do, it's nonstop. That's just the way they live their life, and it's like,
True. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's
no.
one thing.
So
Yeah.
the fun part, I think the funniest part, and let's get into what we're talking about because we're already 20 minutes in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this is
I'm
a
glad.
lot to talk about. So
True, true,
let's
true.
get into it, right?
Yeah.
So the trip, my mind always in certain trips goes certain ways. it started off with marketing.
Yeah, yeah,
It just did. Like my brain just went to marketing because one thing happened. If anybody's been in delays, you're already not too happy, right?
yeah,
Uh, a lot of storms in Houston, so our flight out of Tulsa was delayed. Then we get there and it's delayed because everybody else shows up at that same time.
yeah.
So then there's this
Now they're
line to get
dealing
to
with
the
it.
gate,
Yeah,
right? And there's all these planes out
true.
on the tarmac. I've been through it before on snows or whatever. It always had like. So then we're sitting there. This guy,
What happened?
he's an old man, but not
All
too
right.
old. And then his son, I think, was sitting right next to him. And then some lady started talking like they knew it was all happening, but nobody wanted. They didn't want to. They didn't want to deal with it. I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Turns on his phone, watches a game, full speaker,
Oh shit.
no headphones, nothing.
No fucks given. Just fucking.
No fucks given. Literally like an hour and a half. We were maybe an hour and 45 minutes by the time we got up to
Oh my god.
the gate. And so I
Jesus.
said to you, I was like, dude, we gotta have a laugh about this because it
Holy.
immediately, I didn't blink more than half a second and went, oh, real men of humor or whatever, real men of genius. That's what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
And Bud Light had the most hilarious commercials. They ran for, I think, 10 years.
Jesus.
They were the best marketing commercials I've ever seen
Yeah.
because as soon as one turned on,
Good.
you wanted to watch it. So
Yeah.
that's genius right there.
Like to
And it
watch a
was
commercial. Like want to watch a commercial. That.
real men of genius. Go back and YouTube them if anybody wants to. They're hilarious. It goes and calls out certain individuals of our society who are very annoying. And they give a toast to them. Genius, right? It really was marketing genius. It made me even this I mean this was, I bet you this was like late 90s early 2000s. I think so 20 something years later,
Still got
right
it.
back to the memory,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, this guy's one of the, and it just was like, oh my word, you're a real man of genius. Like I started watching them. I sent it to you, I sent it to Nick,
Yeah,
my partner, I
yeah.
sent it to Brian. I was like, you remember these? I was like, I'm living through this right now. Like I started like doing this, see if they could see them, like real men of genius. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was laughing though. I was literally
Man.
listening to him and just rolling laughing
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the plane. I was like, this is hilarious. So, all right, we got to talk marketing. And this marketing, when you go to, let's just say, well, let's just say the beach, because that's what it was, right? But you were in the islands, you had a beach. This is not American islands, right? Nowhere in America do we do this to a minor extent, but not like this.
Not like this.
Let's see. I can't get my phone because my laptop and this like everything's broken here, so I'm using my phone to record. I sent you some stats. What were
Yeah,
those
yeah.
stats? Can you?
Hold
It
on. Let
was
me pull
how
it
many
up.
miles? Was it like 13 miles or
Yeah, I was
something?
actually. I didn't even realize it was that long. Hold on, I got the stats. I'm pulling them
It's
up.
the miles of beach
Yeah.
in
There we go.
Brazil,
Yeah.
right? Or in Rio.
52 miles long. Because the beach that I was dealing with, it was, hold on, if I convert to miles, because everything there was metric, it was kilometers. Uh, there was one that was about 7 miles, and then two others that we worked at as well. One was 2 miles, and the other one was half a mile. The half mile one was the biggest producer, but that's because, like, Oprah has 3 houses there, a bunch of people. That was a big producer. But, yeah, it was 52 miles long. On average, these beaches see 41,500 internationals per day. Per day. And
41.
then,
That's just internationals.
yeah, and then
So 41,000.
370,000
Yeah,
locals.
there you go. So
That
let's just call it
number,
on average
yeah,
400,000 people
yeah,
every day.
that's wild. That's wild. Like, man, first off, real quick, before we dive in, the interesting thing here for me is the contrast too, because the things that I'm not sure what you're going to talk about exactly, but I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of similarities, but also some interesting things for me, anyways, because the area I was in, like the whole island, the whole population of the country was only 110,000 people. So to
Mm.
hear 370,000 locals, to me, I'm like, holy shit, that was 3.5 times the size of the entire country I was in. The city I was in, the capital, there's only 10,000 local residents. There's maybe about 5,000 students as well, international students. That was big business. A lot of it was cruise ships. Cruise ships, some flights, of course, but cruise ships were the big ones. So for anyway, I'm interested to see where this goes. So we'll dive in. But
But you get the basis, right? There's
oh
there's a there's an
man,
area that
yeah,
everybody goes to,
flooded right
and
there. Boom.
there you go.
Yeah,
So you got this large segment of people.
yeah,
It's
huge.
really, really interesting to see who sells, who markets, how they do, what they
Yeah,
wear, why they chose this.
yeah,
So you go from you take the beach and you got the water, you got the sand, you got the street. Let's just call it that area. Okay.
yeah.
400,000
Man,
people in a day.
jeez.
And what would you do? That's the game. We're
Yeah,
playing a game, all right? We can go back to that funny phone call that we used to watch in movies. Want to play a game?
yeah,
What was that? Scary movie?
yeah, yeah. Scary movie. Oh wait,
Or
scary
was
movie?
Scary Movie the
No,
laughing
scary
one
movie
of it?
was. Yeah, yeah,
I think Scary Movie is the one that laughed about that one.
yeah, yeah. It was the one that laughed about that one.
But anyway, there was the want to play a game, right? So, so let's play the game. And the game is very simple. What would you do? What would you sell? How would you, right? What are you going to market? How are you going to sell?
Yeah, man.
That's a very open game, but it's very fun.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
what we saw, and this is the wild part, right? Like when I say wild, you got 400,000 people every day. So, this means there's a lot of wealthy people there, but there's millions and millions of, when I say poor, I mean, some of the poorest people that you'll
yeah,
find in the world. Every country has very, very poor people. If you live in America, you're not poor. You're like, dude, this homeless guy. I'm like, that homeless guy's got a great life compared to some other people.
yeah.
Like,
100%.
even though even the downtrodden in America still have
Are
cell
still living
phones,
better than
they
yeah,
smoke
exactly.
cigarettes, and they drink cokes that people give them on the side of the road.
Yeah,
Is much different from a developed country to the third world.
yeah. Huge. Yeah,
The poorest of the poor, and they live in favelas, right? They'll come down out of the favelas every day to try and whatever. I don't think these people were their own stuff. Most of them then had to right work for somebody,
yeah,
right? They didn't sit up there and make something and come sell it. They have to come down and basically market. It's really what most of them do. You see costumes,
yeah, yeah.
Spider-Man. You see, there was this one very large, and it's just he was a black guy, so it's not. It's just he was a black guy, but he wore this really, really big white like uh, wig, and he was trying to impersonate what she showed me was this old TV character, and he would say some of the things while he would walk by. He was funny, right?
Yeah,
There
yeah,
was a lady that came by, probably the most successful of them, like they would carry this entire like almost like you go to a retail store and that rack of
oh, the
clothes that
rack
they
with the clothes? Yeah, holy shit.
carry the entire rack full,
Jesus.
and that's what they would do, walk around trying to sell them. You had that, of course, the hat guy, of course, the
Yeah,
sunglasses guy, of course, all the
yeah,
bracelets. And we went back and forth on, hey, did you used to wear that shell, right? Remember
yeah,
all
yeah,
those?
yeah.
I used to wear them on my ankles,
I used to have
when
a
the hemp
necklace
and
of
the
them. Yeah,
shells.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly, right? So those
yeah,
have come back, and people are selling pretty much any of those
yeah.
knickknacks, right?
And
You
real
what?
quick for context
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
the temperature I'm sure was pretty hot,
Mm,
extremely, right?
of course, yeah, of
And so
course, yeah.
that lady, for example, carrying that rack, and
Not
you
just
get
that lady. There's probably 100 of those
hundreds of
ladies,
them,
like
and you get messages
thousands.
from that guy saying like, "Wow, the weather's hot here. It's hot outside." Detailing in Florida, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
You
I'm
got some
telling you,
water, you can rinse yourself off. You're
exactly,
still better off than
100%.
millions of other people.
100%. Like a lot of my discipline and determination. A lot of people say like, "Holy shit, Shawn! Like you work a lot. You're this, you're that." I'm like, "Fuck, man! I'm working. I can take a break anytime I want. I could go watch a Netflix movie on demand. I can go get clean water if I want to, on demand, all this shit. When I lived in the Caribbean, a lot of our neighbors had houses literally made out of cardboard. It was literally shit that they found on the side of the road. They put it up. They didn't even have nails to do. They made homemade glue. I'm not even kidding. And they put this shit on the wall to just stop some of the weather from coming in. But basically, when you see that kind of stuff, you start to realize how good you really had it. And so when I come back, like the hard work I do here to me feels like light work. Because it's like when you see how shit is. I remember helping a kid up a mountain to bring 5 liters of water to his parents, and he had to walk that every day. I was huffing and puffing by the time I got to the top of the hill, and I said, "You do this every day?" He was about 8 years old, and he said, "Yeah, I've done this every day since I was 5." I'm like, "You're joking." And he said, "No, this is where we get our water." I was like, "Holy shit!" And then I go home and I'm just open up the tap, fill it up. Oh, maybe I spilled some. Oh, big deal. It's like for them, it's like, yeah. So when you see that kind of stuff, that hot sun, and you have to be creative, and you have to work there all day, and you have to think if there's hundreds of them, how do I differentiate myself? It starts to be a different
Bingo.
ball game,
There it
right?
is, right? How I differentiate. And let's start the tie-in already. Let's start the tie-in. Of course, it's your detailing business, of course. I think there's another
Yeah,
tie-in that you've had more people ask about hyperclean distribution. We have more and more people showing
yeah,
photos in our group of being out doing distribution. The way to go into that is at the car shows, right? Go to the events
yes.
that have all the people there that are involved and like the things that you're working on,
That's
right?
that's your
So
beach.
that's your
That's your
beach,
beach.
exactly. So I want people to start thinking about what's my beach, right? Corona, here's your beach, right? Great
Yeah,
advertisement,
perfect.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Here's your beach, right? Think about your beach. This is where all these people are coming. What are you going to do? You're going to dress up in a costume? How are you going to present yourself? What are you going to look like? These people, everybody came through looking. Some guys would come through, like I said, making you laugh. Some of them would just come right up and start talking to me. And this
mm.
one guy, he knew. He would always say it, gringo, money.
Bingo, money. Yeah,
He wanted to talk to me. My wife always was the one talking to, or, the sister in law, all that. Like, but he would get away. He'd be like, gringo, money. Like, no,
yeah,
man, no, no.
yeah, yeah.
So it's interesting, like, how people interacted with you. Some people walk by, right?
Yeah.
I'm buying from you, dude. I don't even if you have what I want.
Exactly,
I,
because you're
you
not
have
coming with that
no,
energy that I. Yeah,
yeah, zero energy. You're down. You look
yeah,
like the one of my favorites, which I think I showed you the photo. Some of these people walk around with these metal cans,
oh,
these
yeah, yeah,
tin metal boxes, and they put cheese on a stick
yeah, yeah.
and they heat
We were
it
saying
off
that
the
was like an
coals.
interesting way to eat cheese. Yeah,
It's the best way to eat
amazing.
cheese.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Had to
Amazing.
grab a beer. Kid brings you a beer.
Yeah,
Talk about 8-year-old. Yeah, you bet. They'll bring you a
yeah,
beer.
yeah, yeah. It's hustling has to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the thing is that it starts off that they're there because they have to be,
Hmm.
but they have to be more than just present. They have to be creative. They have to put some thought into it. Imagine that at 8 years old, at a very young age, you have to think, how am I going to outsell the other 8-year-old that's over there because I need the money that gringo has. You know what I mean? It's like I got to get it, and you're competing. It's not. This isn't to say that people are just there throwing away money. You weren't there just like, oh yeah, I'll buy from everybody. No, no, no. You're being discerning. So that person has to come up with some creative way or an edge or an angle. How can I, flip the script and point your attention towards me, right? How can I
Yep.
capture that? And
Yep.
and that's true everywhere in the world, really. It's just we don't associate ourselves with that because it's not happening at that level. You know what I mean? But you're very much playing that game whether you want to believe it or not. And so there is a beach. You might not see the beach. You know what I mean? Maybe you're in Ohio and you're not looking at the beach,
Beach
but
is the
there's a
car
beach.
show. Beach is the
Yeah,
that's your beach. That really is. That I
yeah,
don't know of another way of us to think about how many people that would be our customers. They're like, hey, people at car shows, they don't like detailers. I'm like, okay. Start with that attitude. You're gonna be like that asshole that walks by
hmm,
and doesn't really sell anything. Because I know there's a lot of people who go to car shows and they just sit there,
yeah,
right? They put up a booth, looks wonderful, and then they sit at the booth.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong,
Hmm.
but I'm also going to tell you who I bought stuff from and who I
Yeah,
didn't buy stuff from,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? The one lesson I think any of us can all learn is nonverbal communication's a lot louder than verbal communication.
Big time. Yeah, they say
Big
it's
time.
80-20 actually. Yeah, they say
Hmm.
it's like 80% body language and stuff like that, and then 20%
Hmm.
is things people actually say.
So the body language that worked on me wasn't the same body language that worked on my wife.
Yeah, yeah.
What worked on my wife was a female with a sob story.
Ah,
Worked
okay.
all the time.
Oh, I can
All the
imagine.
time.
That's like
Yeah.
kryptonite, bro. That's
Oh,
it.
well, yeah, I started calling it out to my stepson. I was like, "Yep, that one was gonna
That
get
one
her."
right there.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Sure
yeah.
enough,
It's
right? I had mine too. Guys would come and peanuts. They would come and they give you these little paper. They put this paper down, and then they just toss a couple peanuts down and walk
yeah, yeah,
away. Sure
yeah,
enough, they knew it was
yeah,
smart,
yeah.
smart marketing. They come back and they go, "Look," I'd be like, one guy I tried not to buy. I was like, "Nah, it's okay." He's like, "Hey, listen." Okay, come on. Like
Yeah.
and that's what I said. I go, okay, he got me. Like,
He got me.
this
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
got me. Like, okay, like,
That's the trap. That's the trap
but
right there.
we really did start to joke around. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
It
It's
doesn't
true.
stop. The people pushing the carts. Did
Yeah.
you have the cart pushers?
So with us, no, we didn't have those
Oh,
because everything
that's
was set up like tiendas, like little stores. So yeah, so we didn't have
so
those
that's
guys.
on up. I'll get to that part then.
Yeah,
That's up closer to the street, but down at the beach by the water, that's
yeah.
free walking area.
Okay,
So that's the people carrying things. They weren't up by the street. They were down by the water.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
And the wild ones were they would push these carts with food.
Okay. Jeez.
Corn was a big deal.
Corn was a big
Uh,
one for us too. It's crazy you say that.
They get whole
Yeah,
corn, cut the
yeah, yeah,
corns. I think I sent you a picture of one. Right?
yeah. You did.
Uh,
Ours was always barbecued for some reason.
acai. Oh yeah, barbecue.
Yeah,
Well, there wasn't a lot of meats. They went around. They had pastels and those different things. People would carry those in a.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, the corn, acai, like I said, very popular.
yeah,
Acai is pretty good. The real
yeah, yeah, yeah,
stuff from down there. Like I had some ice cream and I had some acai, and I was like,
yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, that's
"Uh,
pretty. You know what ours was? It was I don't know if you've heard of moringa, but ours was moringa. It has a lot of benefits, like it fights cancer, apparently, all these kinds of things, stuff like that. And so we had a lot of British people that came to our island. That was our because we were part of the Commonwealth, so we ended up having that was I'd say in comparison to Americans, it was easily an 80-20 split, maybe even more. People from UK, Canada, things like that. Anywhere that was like part of the Commonwealth, because also that you could travel there without any kind of real checks. Like I think even people from the UK, I think they can go without even like showing their passport. I think they just need driver's license. But it was that kind of setup. We got plus they're coming with Great Britain pound. It was worth a lot more. So that was most of our people. But a lot of them were interested in the moringa. It was this kind of like little plant thing. We used to take I don't know if they were like berries or flowers. Anyways, you put those in like a tea. So we did a lot of cold teas at the beach, and they loved it. We even made
there
our
was a
own
guy
ice
that
cream.
he was walking around with
Yeah,
holsters and these two
yeah,
jugs,
holsters.
and
Yeah,
that's what. Yep, that's what he had. He had tea. Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
We did the
There
same
was a.
thing. That's hilarious.
Uh, what's the country just south of them? Is it Venezuela?
No,
Who does
Venezuela is
Messi?
closer by
Where's
me.
Messi? No, no. Who's
Mexico's
Messi
up.
play for?
Yeah,
Messi,
Argentina.
Argentina. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So a lot of Argentinians, right? They would come
Ah,
up through there, and so they
okay,
had
yeah,
their
yeah.
own tea too. They had this like crusted stuff at the top,
Ah, okay, yeah.
and then tea. Yeah, I don't know. It's very different. I didn't
I don't
drink
know,
any
man.
of it,
Those
but
Argentinians, they're on some other. Yeah, yeah. But hey, nice. Yeah, yeah. But it is amazing though to see. First off, to see the diversity in the products. Like that was the thing for us too. Is that because when we first landed, it was not tourist season. So when we went to the beaches, it was pretty much empty. And I said, "Ooh, we're about to launch a business here to do this and that." And I said, "I don't know." But at first, we were launching a business that was going to be doing digital marketing anyways. So I was like, "Okay, we'll set up an office, yada yada." But our long-term plan was set up something locally that was going to do big numbers as well. not just something that was relying on, United States, Canada, Britain, so on and so forth. We wanted something locally as well that was going to do big numbers. I said, Jesus, island seems kind of dead. And then everyone was telling me, they said, no, 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 give it a month. And I said, okay, sounds good. So waited a month. The same beach I used to go to every day. We'd go as a family, and there was maybe 11 other people on the beach. That's it. A month later, you go to that same beach, and there's like 20,000 people at the beach. You're holy shit. Now I see what they're talking about. And that's when you started to see a lot of activity, a lot of vendors, a lot of people coming out, a lot of jewelry type stuff, bracelets, this, that, ornaments, all kinds of things. Things people could walk with. The food people used to come. But they got smart too. They realized the difference between the locals and, well, they knew instantly locals versus travelers, and they were like, okay, so they had two different coolers, for example, the guys that were selling local treats and stuff. For the locals, they would sell stuff that things we would see in the markets, like in the supermarkets, but things we wanted to eat because we were familiar with eating them. But the locals would, or sorry, the travelers would look at it and be like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't even know what this is. So they had two different coolers. One was red, one was blue. The blue one, they would sell stuff to us. It was cheaper. The red cooler, you could get American brands, things like that, stuff that we're more familiar with, but it was 10 times the price, right? Even for us as locals, it was like 10 times the price. We're like, I'm not paying that. I'll go to the store on my way home. I'm fine. Like, I don't need that. But it was interesting to see. It was kind of like if you ever sit back and you just like see some ants and they're kind of just like, picking up stuff or building a little thing and this and that. It was like literally watching Discovery Channel, and you just see this whole ecosystem, how things are kind of playing out. It's wild.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
yeah,
As much as detailers want to fight with other detailers, these people didn't fight. I mean, you would see,
yeah,
the
that's true.
who was that I was trying to think of? Was it a corn guy? No, I don't think it was a corn guy. Whatever it was, but it was one of these guys. And somebody had come through, and this other guy was now coming through, and this guy was coming this way, and I could hear them hollering at each other, and he was doing this, and they were trying to show each other which way they'd gone. So this guy took off down there, and this guy went this way. But
But they were
they, in a
fighting.
sense, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a the clothing lady was here, and some other clothing guy came and sat down, maybe 15 feet away from her.
jeez,
They didn't fight.
no fight, no nothing. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
they all understand that they're in a sense together, right? Like,
Yeah,
so, let's think about it. Let's keep playing that game. What are you going to do if you're at your beach, right? At your car show? Think of the beach by the water as like out at the cars, right? I mean, that's at the people. We're sitting at the beach and they're walking by trying to sell us stuff. And when I say anything and almost everything, there was a guy
everything,
that
almost
even
anything. Yeah, yeah,
propositioned some, didn't want to say what he had in the bag,
yeah, yeah,
and wanted me, and the other people wanted me to smell it. I was like, okay, ugh, no,
yeah,
that's not any good.
yeah.
Like, that was old skunky weed. Like, oh,
But he,
like we used
yeah,
to call around here back in the day. You get that Mexican skunk. I mean,
hmm
that's what it was. It was dirty,
yeah, yeah,
like just not good.
yeah, yeah,
And I was like,
yeah,
you like you can keep that away.
yeah. I'm good. Yeah,
You
yeah,
bet. So they would sell everything, right? You can think of. Now let's go up, right? So that's where we're sitting. But to get sitting, they do it different. You don't rent or buy your chair from people selling chairs. You get a free chair and a free table and a free umbrella from the guys up here that are by the road who have the
yeah,
drink stands,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because they want you to come down right in front of their place, and they will bring you drinks. You don't
Yeah,
have
so
to
you have one
pay.
drink, you have two drinks, you have
You can
three.
have what it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't, there's no minimum and there's no maximum,
yeah.
of course, right?
It's true. Yeah, yeah,
uh and of course, if you're going to sit there a while, you're going to keep, and the guys just come by and check on you, right? You
yeah,
got that. You got actually at the street, and the guys slinging the drinks not too far advanced from your cardboard box houses, right?
yeah, yeah.
These are just some tables, some general wood type
Just like
stuff. It
thrown
just
together.
They're
Yeah,
just trying to have a workplace, right? This is
yeah.
There's nothing there, right? Then you get
Wait a minute,
up
they didn't have
onto
like
the street.
X lights and all that stuff. They didn't have.
No, no.
I thought customers care.
Yeah, up on the street, a little bit more. Right, these are more like huts that some of them do very well. Right, they're presented nice. One was available, and I was like, oh shit, man, I don't. Well, am I gonna do this or what? Right, like
Time to pull the trigger. Yeah.
not time, and it wasn't time, but
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Perfect.
would I do that? Right. Then you got on the street, and the main street over. Then there's the big hotels. I mean, those are the guys that get the majority of all the money, right?
Yeah.
They right, and then you go to the street, and you can kind of see this pattern. You got the street and the big guys. You got the next smaller guys, then the small, and then the guys that are just walking
It
around.
filters down. It funnels out.
Right? You
Yeah.
see that path. Think
Yeah.
of that at the car show and where those positions are and where you would want to be, and then what are you going to try and market to people that have cars at a car show? How are you going to do it?
Yeah.
That's the biggest game, right?
Yeah.
Same as I talked about at MTE and the expos. I got there and I first started like everybody else, and I went, this is horrific. I can't just sit here waiting for people to walk by and I can try and like, hey, let me talk to you. Come on in. Like,
It's
not
true.
me.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. Wasn't so I had to come up with a way, come up with something. And that was what we did. Podcasting at expos. We were the first. It was awesome. But for a moment, once I started
Totally.
giving away awards and people were, it was just
Yeah. Yeah.
so you got to really take
What
these
great
moments and
idea in
think,
that scenario. You know.
sure,
Right.
yeah, how do I capture attention?
Yeah.
That's marketing. Marketing is capturing attention. How are you going to capture customers' attention? And that's the game, right? It was the game of this beach. Oh, that's what I meant to bring. I had some cups, right? So
Ah.
even the people you could see who would learn,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the lady that shit, I meant to bring that too. The lady that had the clothes, I took a picture. I need to
Ah.
send
Yeah.
it to
Yeah.
you. We can go put it in the group or whatever. It
Really
doesn't
good.
matter if
Yeah.
we do or don't. But she had her own bag. It was just a brown
Nice.
bag that she stamped with
Beautiful.
some type. Exactly.
Yeah. The
There was,
logo
the
or
people that
some.
had the shacks and slinging the drinks.
Yeah.
Some of them, they invested into cups that had their name on it.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. And
Some did, some didn't.
ah, and you know what that's good for? Because we experienced it too. So when we were selling stuff, we branded a lot of things, and people told us, they're like, "Why are you branding your coolers and this and that?" And I said, two reasons. One, people take photos when they're at the beach. So when they take pictures, someone else that's traveling there sees these photos of their friend, and oh, you went to Grenada, perfect. I want to go there too. So they would then go and they look for our logo because they know my friend had a good experience. I can trust them. I'm going to put my money there. So it was a way for us. That was kind of like our costume in a way. As you mentioned, the guy wearing the costume to be funny. We wore costumes by branding everything so that people would recognize us. That was the whole thing. Is that we seemed approachable. We were recognizable. People would come use us again. The reason I'm so big, and well, you're so big on it too, is this maintenance stuff. I learned a big lesson when I was in the Caribbean. A lot of people, it's not their first time there. And
Hmm.
even if it is their first trip to the beach, sorry, that particular beach in that particular country, it's not their first trip to the beach in general. And so what we realized is that someone's coming here. A lot of people were staying for multiple days, some a month, some multiple months. So what we set up was a subscription for coolers because we knew the biggest pain in the ass for anyone that was staying for an extended period of time was going to the beach and bringing a cooler. You gotta bring the cooler, pack the cooler, get the
Great
ice,
idea. Great
drag it with
idea.
you. So we did a subscription. All they had to do was message and say, I'm going to be at the beach by 2 p.m. I'm meeting 10 people. Perfect. So what we did was one cooler for every five. So every five people, you had to get a cooler. And if that meant you had to have two subscriptions, what we found was that a lot of families, they would get husband and wife would both get a subscription. So if the wife's just going with her family, husband's going with his, or they're going all together, whatever it is, they could combine them together And yeah, we did cooler subscriptions. You could have it filled with ice and drinks, your choice, whatever it is, and free refills, or sorry, one free refill, I should say, from one of the local vendors. So what we did then is we went to the local vendors and we said, hey, we're going to buy X amount of drinks from you, and then we'll just redeem credits when these people use their free voucher. But we want you to push our coolers as well. And you might be saying, well, why wouldn't they just do it themselves? It's amazing how many people lack initiative. Okay, it's incredible. And when something's already set up in place, a lot of people get into the same mentality we see with detailers where, oh, it's saturated. Oh, there's already 10 other people doing this. People just don't do it. So we went to these people, partnered with them. They wanted to sell drinks. We wanted to rent coolers. As long as that ecosystem was in place, everybody was happy. They knew that we weren't trying to hustle drinks. We were going to buy the drinks from them. We knew they weren't trying to hustle coolers, so they were going to work with us. We worked together. We found a way that we didn't have to be right on the beach. This guy was already there. So we had, boom, we could store coolers there. We just show up. Hey, we got to fill up 15 coolers with ice. We'd pack them up full of ice. We'd grab the drinks from them. We'd fill them full of Stag. Bring it down to the beach. Life was good. That's the kind of stuff that when you look at the beach and you say, okay, what can I do? But we had to realize the same thing. You mentioned something earlier, Marshall, that really stuck with me is that there is that funnel that happens where we were looking at what could we sell at the beach and we were getting very ambitious about all kinds of things. We realized the same thing. There were kind of that pecking order where people were coming to the beach, they're already being met by so and so, then they're hit by another business, then another business, and it's what happens at the end. So could we have tried to rent cars at the beach? Maybe. There's already a guy at the top of the hill doing that. He's renting scooters, cars, everything. Okay, so we could have competed, sure. But you have to determine at what level are you going to be and what are you going to sell at that level. And you can be at whatever level you want, but for us we wanted to be on the beach. We had other things to sell. Umbrellas,
Well,
so on and so forth.
let's unpack that. You said you can be at whatever you want. Every level has money, so
That's true. There's
so
money at
you can
each level.
only
You're absolutely
be
correct.
at the level that you have the financial availability to invest into.
True, true. And not only that, we oftentimes made more money than the guy at the top renting the scooters. Because first off, his overhead was huge, but second off, a lot of times it was, okay, let's say it's dead season, there's not many tourists. A lot of locals are driving, but they always wanted coolers. So for us, we realized sustainability. We were like, we want something all year round. We're not dependent on the, how do you say, extranjeros, the foreigners, the foreigners. We weren't dependent on them. We could sell anything at any time. So that for us made sense. So that was one model we did. Now, how many islands you've been to? I guarantee you probably haven't seen a subscription service for coolers. You know what I mean? Now that idea, as I mentioned, when you told me, hey, we should talk about some marketing ideas about things at the beach, I went and as I mentioned before we jumped on, I dug up some old like meeting room notes that we had when I was running the company in 2016, and it's amazing that that idea back then, that was before I started Auto World. That was before I'd ever heard of like a maintenance plan for a detail and stuff like that. And that was our idea, was basically maintenance but for a cooler experience. You know what I mean? And so, but we focused on those kinds of things. We focused on what you can rent while you're at the beach that you don't want to transport there yourself. Because we had these big Sprinter vans, so it was like, so for us to load up 30 umbrellas, 20 coolers, a bunch of stuff, grab the coolers that we had put at the little shop that was by the beach as well, that was nothing for us. For the average person, hey babe, did you pack the cooler? Hey babe, did you put it in the truck? Oh my god, you're picking up this heavy thing, you put it in there. Did you fill it full of drinks? Oh shit, I forgot. You put in the drinks. It's a headache. And then when you're done, you have to drain it, you gotta empty it, you gotta clean it. It's like, oh my god. Find a place for the empties, like it's a big deal. If there's a company that takes care of all of that for you, problem solved. Now, what we did too, step beyond that, is we started talking to some of the cruise ships. And we said, hey, listen, people are coming to the island. They're only here for a brief period of time. They can buy packages. You guys are going to get a cut. We gave them a hefty commission, 50%, because for us, our expenses were low. But reality is, they're bringing the beach to us, basically. Yes, we technically have the beach, the physical location. They're bringing what makes the beach matter to us. They're bringing all the customers. So yeah, 50%, that's what they got. They sold it while they were there. And what were we offering? Wi-Fi when they landed. So when you land, you don't have to use your phone plan. Imagine that. You go from the cruise ship where you have free Wi-Fi. You land on this island, and now you're still using free Wi-Fi. Amazing. Then we had umbrellas. Then we had coolers. Then we had food. You want ice cream, activities for the kids. There was a little kind of like inflatable structure in the middle of the ocean. One of our friends was running it. It was like slides and stuff like that. Anyway, they sold day passes. So we offered them. We said, hey, listen, we're going to buy every day X amount of day passes. And those are ours now. And it's good for like 20, 30 people. So we would offer those if you buy the full family package. You get the umbrella, you get beach towels, you get chairs, you get cooler, you get ice cream, all this stuff. We'll throw in the passes for the kids. Part of that was we knew when the kids were taken care of, the parents are going to do more of what? Drink and enjoy themselves. Exactly. So then we went and talked to the guys that were selling drinks, and we said, hey, listen, we want to bulk purchase some drinks and so on and so forth. So we did these kind of steps. We took it a step further. This is just an interesting story, I guess, but we took it a step further, and we talked to the guys that sold the beers to those local shops. And we said, this is what we're looking to put in place. If we pull this off, we want you to guarantee a 20% discount on all the cases of beers that you're dropping off at the local shops. And they said, if you pull that off, done deal. So then we went back to the guys at the shops and we said, if we pull this off and you guys work with us, we're going to be able to get you guys a discount of at least 10%. We just started there. We could pocket the rest. so we worked out a deal. But basically, they were happy. They saw everyone's working together. But it goes back to that whole ecosystem where, guys, don't be scared to work with people around you at all. These,
Yeah, and I think some people are hearing it and go, yeah, but I'm not going to like. So understand this: we're not talking about detailers.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
if you're at
no,
a car show and you're at a, or you're going to some event, of course, there's going to be a lot of other people there,
hundred
t-shirt
percent.
people,
Yeah,
oil people, all the trinkets that go into your car people.
yeah,
You name it. We've all gone to car shows. We've seen it. We see this, the baked goods lady, right?
yeah.
The
It's true.
crafty
They're
lady
all
who
there.
makes stuff
Yeah,
out of her house. Like it's all there. You need to, and they all will show. And you can talk to even the promoters. They'll tell you who's going to be there ahead of time. Usually, we'll show who's it, like who's sponsored, all that stuff. I would say you work around doing stuff like that instead of doing a sponsorship, right, for the event. And they, oh, well, thank you to
yeah.
Rick's Detail for his sponsorship. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't. Might make you feel good inside, tickles your heartstrings, but aside from that, it's not
But
bringing
to
you.
your point, if you give away Mary's, baked goods and you go and say, hey, I want to purchase $20 worth, well, she's going to do something in turn for you, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. That's how it goes because we live in an ecosystem whether you want to or not. Wherever you're located, there is a beach. It might be a hypothetical beach, but there is a beach. You're operating on a beach. And if you start looking at the world and saying, okay, I've got X amount of people in my city, I've got X amount of people in this neighborhood, they all go to this show or that show, or there's a million things to go to. And car shows are obviously a great one, right? And there are other things as well. Like here, for example, we have a show, it's an aviation show. It's kind of all the old, like, the planes and stuff they used during World War this and World War that. It's all those things. But the people that go there, first off, they all drive there, which is awesome. They all go to one centralized location, which is great. But what we found is that on certain days, a lot of people that go there for some of these planes that they see, it's a certain type of demographic that goes there. And so we make sure we're there every year. And we make sure that we've got a little thing set up. And I don't know, for us, that works. I don't know what that thing is in your neighborhood, what shows up at your beach, but there's going to be something there. And the ideas are plentiful. These are ideas, this stuff, I only mentioned a few. These are ideas that I dug up from 2016 before I had ever even heard of AI or ChatGPT and all this shit. If I had the resources I had now, figuring out what to do on my beach would have been a lot easier. I had to put a lot of things into, trial and error, practice. You just do different things by assessing the market. But I would strongly urge someone to do a 3-step process. Identify where your beach is. Take a look at, just observe. Take a look at what's going on there. Get the creative juices flowing. Think of some ideas. Take those ideas and polish them up with Luna. That's what I would say. Take those ideas, plug them into Luna, Luna, Luna. There you go. So Marshall gets paid, and then basically say, with these ideas, this is my beach. What would I do? you know, I think that there's a huge opportunity out there for people to do things like this. Like one thing we're looking at doing right now, I'm kind of putting the wheels in motion. But do you remember soapbox cars? Remember those things without the engine, and you go down the hill, or there's an option.
Yeah, yeah. We never had. I mean, that was before my time, but yeah, I didn't.
Fair
They
enough.
weren't.
Well,
I know.
I thought you said I
Apparently,
was
you
younger. I thought you
you
said I was
played
younger.
with.
I did it once.
Well, you're from Canada, so maybe
Oh,
stuff's
that's
just
true.
20
For
years
us, that was
behind over
called
there. I
public
don't know.
transportation. But
Yeah,
no, yeah, fuck off. So soapbox cars, though. I was getting my hair cut, and I'm talking with my barber, and we were watching this thing from what's that drink there? Red Bull, and it was this.
they do those events where people go down the hill and those. Yeah,
They
those are funny.
do, and
Mhm.
right by my shop is this big kind of, I'm gonna call it a mountain, but it's not a mountain. But there actually, it's funny we're talking about beaches. There's literally a beach there as well. It's called Mooney's Bay. So Mooney's Bay, there's little, I don't know, there's water, there's a beach, there's even on the other side there's like whitewater rapids or some shit. I don't know. There's stuff going on there. All outdoor activities. Most of the people that go there have disposable time and income. Most of the people that spend the day there, the houses across from there are starting at $2.4 million. Like it's the people around that area, and they're, I don't know, maybe 5 miles from my shop. It's very close. But right there, it's a perfect area for us, to be honest. But right there, there's this kind of like mountain type thing. It's a massive hill. People in the wintertime, they go down it in sleds, things like that. But I was thinking summertime, the parking lot, they've kind of built it like an obstacle course. It kind of goes in like a bunch of S shapes. And I was watching the show with the barber, and I'm thinking, holy shit, a soapbox derby would be amazing. Get people out, register, they can win some money, and then get some local businesses that we partner with to participate so they can put up some of the prize money, but at the same time get exposure. We get a bunch of car people together. We've got a bunch of nice cars for sale at the dealership. It's like we could put a couple Lambos there, the G Wagons, things like that. Get people to come out. We'll get the red ropes so they oh wow, look at that car, but really it's just because we made it look fancy. And then we have Auto World there, cleaning some cars in the parking lot, things like that. And I was like, holy shit, there's an opportunity there in a massive way. And so I've been talking to the city to see if we can kind of rent the mountain and the parking lot, shut it down for a day, and do this thing in Ottawa. My pitch with them is basically, because you got to look at every beach as an opportunity, right? And that's a beach. And I'm looking at it like, what does our city need? And they need tourists right now. Ever since the pandemic, tourism's down. They're trying to get the numbers up, get people back here. Okay, well, this could be a thing that could become an annual thing. And if I let into it like, hey, I want to do this year and this year alone, they might look at it like, oh, yeah, this benefits you, but what's in it for us? But I'm pitching it in a way where it's, hey, we want to do this annual event here where we're going to drive a ton of people here, purchasing from businesses, bringing tourism, booking up hotels, so on and so forth. It piques their interest more. So anyway, I'm pitching it to them now. We'll see what happens. But those kind of opportunities, sure, that's swinging for the fence. I realize that. You know what I mean? A lot of guys out there, that's not probably the direction you're going to go. I'm going to urge you to chase big dreams and seek after those kinds of things because you can do them. But at the very least, take away from that find your beach and just figure out what you can do, what level you're at, what you can sell, how you can proposition that sale. Because as Marshall said, there were some people he bought from because they were creative, they had a clever little twist to it. Other people just showed up and just put it in his hand. Literally, here's the piece of paper, here's some peanuts, I'll see you later, come back. Oh, hey, by the way, I've been bringing you this all day. And then other people was just felt obligated. You got to figure out like what's your strategy? How do you want to approach your beach? How many people are coming to your beach? What can you sell? What can't you sell? And that's the takeaway from this. Don't think this is a tourism episode. This is taking lessons learned in the wild and how can you apply that to whatever your beach is. That's basically it in a nutshell. So, yeah. So, hope I summarized that pretty well. So,
Did a great job.
yeah, thank you. Actually, sorry, before I end off, there's one last thing because I completely forgot and I did want to talk about this. So we had this thing. A lot of people think that detailing needs to be kind of sexy. Like that's why a lot of people say I don't want to do interiors and all this kind of shit. So when I was digging through the notes and I found my papers from 2016, one of the things I had written down was a concept I was drilling into the heads of my team, and we had 32 staff members working for us at the time. There's a lot of staff to manage for sales and things like that. And I drilled into their heads that tourism, a lot of people get excited about the obvious, like, oh, we should get power boats and we should take people out and do, tubing and stuff like that. And I said, guys, tubing is great, tubing is sexy, tubing is the obvious, but there's a lot of business to be made off the things that are not obvious, like that kid that was bringing you the peanuts. That kid probably did extremely well just by bringing towel and peanuts, right? And so he found a niche, he found an edge within there, and that was something that back in 2016 that I coined as stealth wealth. And so stealth wealth is it's the wealth you can build that's not sexy, it's not glamorous, you're in the background, and it doesn't really mean much to a lot of people. And so one of the things we did, now they're super popular in a way, you can find like backup batteries all over the place, but at the time, what we found was a lot of the people that came to the island from the cruise ships, they couldn't bring much stuff. They're leaving most of their stuff in their cabin, or they're leaving it with their family member, whatever. They come to the island, they didn't have many things. But one thing they always had was their cell phone. But what their cell phone always had was a lack of battery. They always had 12%, 30%, or something like that. So I said, listen, the number one thing these people want to do, though, is start taking video footage, pictures, all that kind of stuff. Before they're only here for like 4 or 6 hours. They got to take whatever they can, and then they're gone. So they weren't really thinking, oh, I got to charge my battery. They're by the pool on the cruise ship drinking all day. They're not thinking about that. So what we had were solar powered chargers for battery backups. Then they paid basically for 5 minute increments. You can plug in your phone. How many minutes do you want? 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever you want. They plug in their phone for that a lot of time. We had a security person there that was watching over all the devices, so you don't have to worry about theft. Go swim for 20 minutes. We'll see you, and your phone's going to be at 50%. They would go swim. They'd come back. That alone was the stealth wealth. But then what we did to entice people for this and to bring them in is we had set up an influencer area. Now at the time we didn't call them influencers because that wasn't really a term back then, but vloggers was a term back then. And so we set up a vlogger area. So we set up, it was just a little kind of, it was almost like a carpet kind of thing that we put on top of the beach, and we had set up a little camera, and we set up, it wasn't a ring light, but it was just a series of lights kind of thing. We're going back to 2016 now, okay? So it was like, we're going back in time here. So, but we set up a little area where they could record something, and so they would go, when they came back, their phone was a little charged, they could put their phone on the stand, they could do like quick little poses, dances, whatever it was, but all they had to pay for, that part was free. All they had to pay for was charging their phone. But man, we were getting it from the sun. We had a battery bank that was being charged from solar panels. I was like, this is free money, literally. And so that kind of stuff was stealth wealth. And the reason I bring that up is there's all these kind of little things you can find in your business. And I brought up something the other day. I got to give a shout out to Dijon. He messaged, he said he's going to buy one. I mentioned that thing that does the UV cleaning of your cell phones. And so I'm hoping people take note of things like that, where there's all these little things you can buy that will add on to your edge when you're selling at the beach. Is that there could be something so small that doesn't seem sexy. It's not like, oh, here's a shiny, exterior. Look how you see the mirror reflection. There's stuff out there for cars that's not going to be super sexy, but will drive those sales. Focusing on those kinds of things, you still have those interactions with customers. When you're talking with customers, that's when you can sell them on the sexy. But you got to have some sort of pull to bring them in, because when you're on the beach, you need something that becomes that wig, and you're being funny and referencing some old TV show. You need some sort of hook, and those kinds of things can be the hook. So think outside the box. Think of the non-sexy. Think of things that people want, people use, people need. People don't really think
Products.
about.
That's
Yeah,
what people use around
yeah,
cars.
yeah, yeah. That's fair point, 100%. And that's, guys. This is simple advice, easy to implement, something you could start tomorrow. I'm really happy that I've seen a lot of people reach out and say, hey, I wanted to reach out. Who do I talk to about becoming a distributor for HyperClean? I'm very interested in the products. How do you like them? This and that. I'm really happy to see that kind of feedback, because it shows that more than anything, people are open to using great products from a great company. But more so than that, people are actually listening to things. And that, I know, is going to be the true measure of your success, is that you're listening and implementing. A lot of
And
people,
looking and
yeah, his phone's coming right back. There we go.
needing a bridge. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what
we got
happened.
you. We got you.
Uh, needing a bridge to bridge over to be able to
Yeah,
talk to people.
yeah,
It, as
100%.
simple as showing using HyperClean glass cleaner to clean their glass and show them streak free. You could grab the what they're using now, and you know it ain't streak free, right?
Exactly.
You could show them the
Put it
user
on and be like,
experience. Like, see how
look
you're
at
having
this.
a pull on this towel? Like, see all
Yeah.
this lint you're leaving? Now let me show you a better way. Demos are perfect for that.
Yeah, and that's a good
Absolutely.
point coming full circle too, is that remember, you're not at war with your customer. So this whole like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I can do it better than you. It's like, no, 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 no. I can do a great job. I'm going to do a great job, quality work. I'm going to save you time. It's the convenience. And I'm going to teach you also how to maintain it in between visits. So we're going to do a great job. My dentist doesn't tell me to stop brushing just because I go to see him twice a year. No, he
Great
says,
point.
thank you. He says, in between visits, you better brush your fucking ass off. You know what I mean?
And they
And then I
give
will
you
see
the
you in
stuff to
2 months.
use, don't they? Oh, it's
Absolutely.
a
They give me
small
a little.
amount, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure. Yeah, they're like, here's a little tube of toothpaste and the floss and this and that. But the point is that I'm going home to do it myself. But it doesn't mean he never tells me don't ever come back here. He's never worried about me not coming back there because we do different things. It's the convenience. Someone else, pause, inside my mouth can do a better job of it. Fuck, there's no way to say that without it sounding. Jesus, I might have to go on that other podcast there and talk about my feelings. It's very important, you know. But so no names, but yeah, it's that whole dentist thing. Think like the dentist. Be there to be part of the solution. Work with your customer. You're not at war with your customer, not at all. So find your customer at the beach, attract them to the beach, separate yourself, and then once you get them as a customer at the beach, find a way that you can now do customer service. Be a part of their solution, not a part of the problem. You're not at war with them. Just work with them. They do their thing. Trust me, your customer, even if you give him instructions, he's going to fuck up. And he's going to be like, Jesus, last time I cleaned, I'm so happy to come back to you because what I did last week was a nightmare. And other times he's just not going to want to do it. People don't have that initiative. They don't have that drive to maintain things at the level you will. So don't be scared. Dive in, work with your customer, find out what your beach is, find your angle, and just go ham sandwich. That's it. Rant is done. Well, Marshall,
okay.
appreciate you as always, man. Welcome back from Brazil. There you go. I saw you had some caipirinhas for me and a Negroni,
Hmm.
which perfect color. I saw it. It looked beautiful. But yeah, anyway, welcome back. I'm excited we're back in the chair doing these episodes again. Guys, tune in for more, of course. Next week we'll have more. And anyone that has questions, feel free to reach out. Hyperclean's what you need, and I can help you get connected, whatever you need to do to get those products for you guys. All right. Awesome. We will see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.